Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another Spiritual Mind Healing Service. Today, we're going to talk about friends and relationships. And of course, we're going to take your prayer requests. I am Tamu Davidson, Science of Mind practitioner, your host for this evening. So, we really look forward to having you join us live if you can, or to watching this recording later. Please remember to like and subscribe our channel as we aim to serve and continue to make this place, the world, Jamaica, everywhere, a place for everyone. And so, for this evening, we will now, as we usually do, go on to our affirmative prayer as we open this evening's session. And so, wherever you are, just want you to take a deep breath and sit still. So, if you're driving, just reflect. If you're at home, wherever you are in the world, we're knowing that God, all present, everywhere present, is present today, and we are one with this one source of wisdom, this one source of unity and harmony. This one source operates in and through this session today. All our thoughts, all our expressions of divine wisdom. As this topic unfolds, as we discuss relationships and friendships today amongst friends, we're knowing we're divinely guided and we're moved to this intimate relationship to share and express as we see fit. And so we're knowing the power of the divine presence is at the center of this evening. And so we release it to the law of mind for action, knowing that this is so, and so it is. So welcome again, once again, friends. And we have this exciting topic to discuss today. Added a little dazzle drama to this today, but we'll be talking about friends and relationships. For those who were here on Sunday in temple or online, would have heard our dear Reverend Michelle discuss the topic of intimacy. And so this, builds on this whole topic, looking at friendship and relationships. Now, you may ask, well, what does this have to do with me? I think I know everything about friendship or relationships. Or we may be saying, hey, well, I have so many friends or I don't have friends. And recently a very popular YouTuber and TikToker said, oh, I've done a 30-minute post to explain to you why I do not have any friends. Very interesting. So the whole issue about friendships, relationships, that is the whole human being experience, the experience as human beings. We are social beings. And so if we look at friendship in the context of Jamaica, that is interwoven into our very cultural fabric of Jamaica, where community and camaraderie are highly valued. So friendships are highly valued, and if broken, are also cause of deep pain and distress. By nature, Jamaicans are known to be very friendly and to be embracing. This is one of the reasons why we're one of the global premier attractions in the world. When we look at the context of relationships in Jamaica? Well, those are typically characterized by a blend of traditional values, modern influences, with a strong emphasis on family respect and personal connection. So, family is at the center of many of our relationships. And so, when we talk about relationships, they can be a relationship not only with another human to human, but also with our own pets, animals. It can even be a relationship with our own car. So some people name their cars and give them all sorts of names. People name objects and develop deep bonds with these items. So today, we are going to be looking at this topic and really taking it from the science of mind perspective. So I would like to welcome all of those who have joined us a little after we started here. I just want to remind us that we're talking about relationships and friendships today. So, excuse me. So if we think of it, when I think of relationships, I think of my parents, I think of my sisters, I think of friends. I know, hi Jennifer, you joined us. Leighton, welcome, and Dawn. And I'm sure we have persons online as well on YouTube. What pops up in your mind when you hear the word relationship? What do you think of? Or who do you think of? Anyone online wants to share? Yes. Who do you think of when you hear the word relationship or even friendship? Who do you think of, or what do you think of? What thought, emotion, you know? Right. Anyone wants to share? No? Okay. Yes. So when we look at these concepts, so I think of relationships, I have a lot of emotions going through my mind. I feel happy, sad, sometimes apprehensive, and some of these different emotions come through. I think of the relationship again with my parents, a relationship with my dog, my dogs as my pets, my cat. I think of relationships with my sisters. I think of those in the church, with my fellow practitioners and my minister. I think of relationship at work. Um, so in many different contexts. But what we're reflecting here is, how does the science of mind view relationships and, what they should entail, both relationships and friendships. And one of the quotes I wanted to share with you is really their own founder, Ernest Holmes. He specifically looked at relationships. And at the center of these relationships, one of the key elements was the whole idea of really looking at it as love, recognizing the divine essence within each person and each individual. So for the Holmes perspective, when he looked at relationships and friendships, it was rooted in the concept of thinking of interconnectedness. We're all connected and we're all part of this spiritual divine oneness unity. So when you look at friendships, they should really be grounded in a recognition that each human being, each every individual, those on this call tonight, are really the divine essence. So one of the things when we do treat or say prayers in Santa Mind, we recognize that each individual is a divine essence, a divine reflection of God within, is a perfect man. Their perfection that we see, their divinity we see in each and every one, every person. And so when we're looking at ensuring that we do have quality relationships, this is really elevated when both parties in a relationship acknowledge and honor their own spiritual truth. No, this sounds like the perfect scenario. And even when you're angry with someone, it doesn't mean that you don't acknowledge and recognize their divine essence, the true essence, divinity within that person. It just means that you have had a difference of opinion, but you, in centering yourself and remembering that going back to love at the center of everything, we recognize, go back to remind ourselves that each one of us is a reflection of that divine essence, that perfection of God within. We are all children of God. And once we recognize that, that brings our relationship back into harmony. No, Holmes also, highlighted that relationships are opportunity for mutual growth and self-discovery. No, I'm sure, if we ask any of you who are online, has anyone had any, I would like you to share. So we don't want anyone to be, we want everybody to join in today. Anyone has had a relationship that they felt has helped them to grow, and they have seen their own personal growth by being in that relationship. Anyone wants to share any of your experiences? So, what would sometimes you're in this relationship and you're thinking, boy, this is so difficult. We're not getting on, the conflict. Or you may be in a work relationship. Very often, you hear people complaining about work relationships and, how difficult it is. But at the end of the road, sometimes through these relationships, that it helps you to grow and to challenge yourself to tap into your own spirituality and recognize the essence of God within each individual, and to work on yourself to grow. Because one of the things we talk about in Science of Mind is the whole law of attraction. And there's a saying, if you see the person's, what there's a Jamaican saying, I remember exact words. If you see the person's friend, that tells you a lot about the person's character and the law and these laws of attraction and how we attract persons into our experience. And that attraction is also what we reflect out from ourselves. So we're taking that responsibility. Remember last healing service, we talked a lot about, having to acknowledge that we create many of our experiences, and we do create those experiences and those relationships that help us to grow, because we need to learn and grow from those experiences. But anyone wants to share an experience that they have had that they have had to grow from? And I see Chima sharing here in the chat. And here she said that my relationship with my daughter makes me a better person because I learned about unconditional love and patience in a relationship. Yes, nothing more than, yes, learning patience, especially when you have your child. And I've also learned myself having patience when now you're dealing with an older adult, someone who may have been very active before and now has slowed down. And so you know, you have to have patience, in working along with them. So you've grown. I, for me, you know, I've learned from that experience and try, to grow and temper my pace and to be more reflective, to be more understanding and listen actively. I see here Martha says most important relationships are with myself and the indwelling God. Very good point. Yes, Carol, go ahead.
Um, sorry. Uh, my experience has been over all these years are that different relationships push you to um to exercise your your spiritual muscles in different ways. They are the ones that I'm sorry, a vehicle is passing. There are the ones that you would consider to be irritating. And in those relationships, you have to learn to appreciate the person for who they are. You have to understand what it is to love. You have to understand to exercise your muscles in terms of forgiveness. And I have seen relationships that I have called irritating, that I have that I've had to I've, I've polished my mental state to the extent that I emerge out of them feeling so much better in terms of my interactions with the individuals, to the extent that you develop friendships that you never thought could have been possible. So it is that you have to dig deep, 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 deep down inside you sometimes to
That that
emerge, to emerge that part of you that says that I behold, that really says it and says it with meaning, that I behold the Christ in you.
yes, yes, exactly. You are
Mhm.
so, and that you hit it on a nail. Here, Holmes believes that all relationships, including friendships, should be grounded in a recognition of the divine essence within each individual, which you have
Mhm.
highlighted. And he
Mhm.
also posited that by seeing the inherent divinity in others, we foster deeper and more meaningful connections. And in his
Yeah.
view, the quality of the relationship is actually elevated by both parties.
So we talk about peace and we talk about love and
Yes.
we talk about all the other things, but they are abstract until you exercise your muscles, your spiritual muscles,
Yes,
and
yes.
move out of the very what well um we really should do that book again, that book that the oh god, the empowerment, the TED that Reverend Michelle did the last time, because it is really a study in how you emerge from even being a victim in a situation to using that
Yes,
same relationship to become a creator, to exercise your creativity in the sense of being in charge rather than burying yourself under some negative perspective about a situation.
that
You know.
is so true. And here again, it hits on nail on the head again, mutual growth. Holmes
Mhm.
mutual growth. He saw it as mirrors reflecting our own inner state and potential. So, that relationship is bouncing back reflection of who you are. And as you said, the muscles, spiritual muscles. One of
Mhm.
the things that, inherently growing up as a child, that's how I saw everyone. And then over time, you experience different situations, you observe different situations, and you realize, hey, this world is kind of much more complex and much more complicated.
Mhm.
But I think the science of my teaching and the spiritual teaching helped me to get back into that center and center myself in itself. I've been, in a situation where, you know, it was so distressing to a point that one day I was like, my blood pressure is going up. I said, no way, Jose, I'm going to make my well-being and my sense of peace be disrupted. And it
Mhm.
was the end of that. And
Mhm.
but also getting back to the place that everyone is an expression of God, seeing that divine.
Mhm.
So even in the midst of difficulty and chaos, seeing that divine, and that has given me an amazing feeling of peace, always of peace.
But
So
that
yes,
that that
in
is
the
the essence. That is the essence of relationships. Because if each person is an expression of God, the measurement of who you are being is how you relate to that expression of God.
yes,
I don't know if how I am in this moment. You cannot, Jesus said something. You can't love your brother. You can't say you love God when you don't love your brother who you're seeing.
yes, that's the essence. And here we have Dawn sharing she learned patience with my mom. Yes,
Mhm.
and I also learned patience with my parents. As they, we have, I think, as a child to parent, you that relationship evolves. It's so dynamic as you go through your life stage, which is, and I can say I'm at a beautiful place, but it's amazing how that evolves over time without you even recognizing it. But you still remain the child and still have the
Yeah,
parent, but
yeah.
it evolves in a different conversation and relationship. I
Mhm.
think Jennifer says, in relationships that really challenge us when these persons are no longer here with us, we come to
Oh
appreciate
Lord,
special these people were to us. Yes,
indeed.
that's very important. And in fact, Ernest Holmes has a book which is no longer in print, where he has a lovely poem which I'll read at the end and share at the end in talking about those relationships where the persons have departed. And this is why,
Mm.
as a physician, as a friend, as a practitioner, I constantly encourage persons, especially in relationships that where there's some hurt or pain, is to reconcile because it's really about you to express that, to release that, to engage, even if the person is not interested in engaging. Because in my practice as a physician and in that context, even counseling persons around any hurt and pain, very often um, when persons go and leave and they have not resolved that, there's a lot of guilt, a lot of pain that they carry for many, many years. Sometimes that manifests as physical illnesses, and different aspects in their life because they carry this pain with them and they're not able to release that or reconcile with the person who may have inflicted that pain. And most of that reconciliation is for them. Or they should have done this, or they should have done that to have better outcomes, or they wrestle with this guilt, you know.
Mm. Mhm.
And I think for me personally, one of the things that was very helpful for me as a child, I'll never forget that. My mother said to me, I don't really even remember at what age. She says death is a part of life. It's a cycle of life. And then I reflected on this and I said, Eureka to myself. And I said, okay. So I began to accept this as a natural process.
Mm,
And that was at an early age.
mm,
And I accepted it for myself. It's not that it's not painful or you don't miss the person, but I accepted it as a natural process of circle of life. And for me, mentally, I was able to internalize that. And for me, which of course, that journey is different an experience for everyone, in different ways.
mhm,
So when we look at Science of Mind has some key principles of relationship. One is unity and oneness. So the concept of oneness. So in a relationship, it means recognizing that we're all connected at a fundamental level. And so all of us here on this call are connected in some way or form. Has anyone ever had a deja vu, or where you are, you have all out of the blue felt you needed to call someone you hadn't seen for a long time, felt, you need to reach out to say something? Word, anybody wants to share that experience? Has that ever happened to any of you here?
Tamu, this is Yvonne Carty. This
Yes.
morning I had a strong, strong feeling to get in touch with somebody,
Yes.
very strong. And I tried 3 different number and I go back to some old numbers. And just for this afternoon, the child of the person called and said to me, taking the person down to the hospital. But I tried. I had to say to the daughter, I was trying to get your dad all morning, which is true, all morning. I sat down, I said, I can show you the phone how I tried so many times. But that time, maybe he wasn't feeling well, but it was so strong. So when she called me this afternoon, out the bright blue sky, I said, boy, you know? So I had that this morning.
Yes,
Okay.
that definitely. Thanks for sharing something so personal and recent. But yes, that happens all the time. Has anyone had deja vu, like you've met someone before? You know, anyone has had that experience? Yes, Carol. Yes, go ahead, Carol. You want to share?
I think Caroline has been up a long time and
Oh,
didn't come down.
that's a legacy. Yes. So again, one another. So we say unity and oneness. And so the other principle is the law of attraction. Essentially, we attract into our lives what we focus on with our thoughts and beliefs. And that definitely includes our relationships. So our relationships, in fact, are reflective of where we're at. So positive, loving relationships are attracted by cultivating loving, positive thoughts and attitudes. We also have the other principle, love as a creative force. So, love being the most powerful creative force in the universe, love in relationships is not just an emotion, but a principle that binds everyone together. So, love in relationships are an expression of the divine love, another principle of our spiritual principle. Mutual growth and evolution. So we spoke about mutual growth. Each person or partner in that relationship, whether it's even a dog or a cat, can help you to evolve and realize your highest potential. Carol said, stretch your spiritual muscles. So, and relationships are constantly dynamic. But at the center of it, we know that we see the divine within that person. Also, individuals in Science of Mind, as again, the law of attraction, we are encouraged within a relationship, whatever we experience, to acknowledge that experience is what we are experiencing and to take ownership for that and to address it, whether the good, the bad, and the ugly. Communication and affirmation is also another principle, and affirmations are key part of the whole science of mind, affirming the good in oneself and your partner, constantly affirming, being supportive, creating the supportive environment. Forgiveness and non-judgmental. No, forgiveness doesn't mean that you forget, but not holding resentment or judgment that creates a negative energy or block. And one of the lessons I've learned in all of my relationships, one of the lessons I've learned and understood, whether it be work or personal relationships, is that the reaction you receive, whether negative or whatever it is, it's never about you. It's actually about the person and where they're at and what they're experiencing. And sometimes just asking a question, you realize, hey, they responded to you, their outer world, because of how they were feeling in their inner world. And when you get that eureka, said, oh, I'm okay. How can I help this person to through what they're going through, or even leave a positive word of encouragement? And so, hey, I'm fine. That was never about me. It's all about the individual who was going through that issue. And then,
Yeah, but
yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think that the fact that the individual touch you in a particular way sometimes is an indicator of what you need to do with your own self.
That is true. Definitely true. I agree with you on that. And so one of the things I learned, so I'm not that impacted as much as I was before, because I've recognized that here, that it really is that person's may need help or assistance. And usually, inevitably, when I turn it around, the person needs it's their call for help, or they're having um, a difficult day, a difficult time. And many times, these persons, these relationships, recognizing that, become some of the best and closest relationships that I've had. But yes, once you have a trigger, there's something that you need to work on that is, really triggering that response, whether
May,
negative or feeling that hurt or pain from that.
may I just may I just quote our um dear Courtney?
Yes.
I remember he did a talk once on relationships. I can't now recall what was the tenor of his talk, but that he said, but what I do recall, he said that relationships are a metaphor for life.
Yes, yes, yes. That is something that I've heard many times quoting over and over again. Certainly a reflection. If anyone can quote properly the saying, if you see when you see your friend, your company is a reflection of you. Even though you think your friends might be quite opposite or different, but your company is a reflection of you, or your consciousness of where you're at in your place in life. And so I think maybe that would also qualify for that quote you mentioned by Courtney. So another aspect, opportunity to do when you're practicing the principles of science and mind is that, we do visualization. And, in the visualization, you can visualize these harmonious, loving relationships and hold that image, and if that relationship is right for you, it'll be there. If it's not, relationship will move on in that sense. So these are some of the and the final one is spiritual partnership. So spiritual partnership is also another aspect or principle. And this is where the partnership is based on mutual respect, love, shared commitment, living in alignment with the spiritual principles. So both partners are committed to spiritual growth. And this morning, as usual, just before work, as watching happened to just flick on the TV, turn it on, and up came, of course, the first channel, and there was a religious panel that was there talking about this couple and their relationship, and the fact that, the relationship had, of course, had its ups and downs, but at the center of the relationship was a recognition of the divine presence, their divine, recognizing the divine within each and every both of them in this relationship, and how by chance they came together, which they believe was the divine right of God. And one of the things you mentioned was, when you're entering these relationships, just know that your good will manifest for yourselves, and don't settle for anything else but the good that you will manifest. And this trust in the divine, and that your divine, your right divine partner in your divine time, not your time of years on a calendar or time on a clock, but in divine time, you will, experience this type of relationship that you may desire, whether it be, in a marriage or etc. But do not settle, because your divine time will manifest for you. So those are some of the key, areas. So when we talk about friendship, we could talk on and on about these two things, friendship and relationships. And friendships, one of the things, I have with many of my friends, we don't have to be talking every single day, but my closest friends, we're there, we reach out when we need to reach out, and we're still very close. Whatever we need, we can call on each other. If you they call me tomorrow, hey, I'm having this event, and it's on the weekend. If I can afford it, I hop on that plane, and up there, I'm there with them. And we support each other in many different ways, but we're not necessarily conversing and seeing each other every day. We just know we have that connection and that divine presence, and love for each other. And we have known each other for many years, but we don't require to communicate every day or see each other every day to be good friends. Anyone wants to share any special relationship they may have, whether it be with another human being or with their pets, that they may want to share as we move close to wrapping up this particular segment before we go into prayers? Anyone wants to share?
Sorry, I have to leave you.
Oh, sorry, I have to leave. Okay. Well, I just want to remind us, Reverend Michelle spoke about intimacy, and what we want to create and continue to create an environment of intimacy where we can share openly. And part of this is our friendship or relationships and our bonds that we're creating within the Temple of Light Center for Spiritual Living, both in Jamaica and all over. And, we extend this to anyone who comes into our sanctuary, whether it's online or in person. We want persons to feel that they can reach out and share with us. And if they need of anything, that we are here for them. And so with that, I'm going to segue into the prayers. And at the end, I'm going to close off with Ernest Holmes' poem at the end of the session. So I see Vance sharing here, everyone relationship is our teacher, and we become a teacher in return. The lessons repeat until it is learned. Fantastic. Vance, I think this is such a wonderful quote. I think we need to have it circulated. Everyone relationship is our teacher, and we become a teacher in return. The lesson repeat until it is learned. And that, really sums up a lot of our spiritual growth and the relationships that we have. The mutual growth as we challenge us to grow spiritually and as a person throughout. Sandra Cooper regrets not being able to join. Okay. Yes, we certainly miss her. So you have a treatment for health for me and my friend Carol. That's for Dawn. Wonderful. And where do we have any other requests for treatment? Okay. Right. So at this time, we're going to treat for health for John. And this is an affirmative prayer for health for John. We are knowing that the omnipresence, the one source, God, the one source of health, of healing, this one source is one with Dawn, out picturing through Dawn in every cell, molecule, atom, every organ, every system, every aspect of Dawn unfolds and heals and is in harmony. And we're knowing this wonderful temple, this body of God, it's the form reflected through Dawn. And this form continues to unfold and heal, and all any ailment that Dawn may be facing, we're knowing that all is well as Dawn is the divine presence itself. And so, knowing this to be the truth, we release it to the law of mind attraction. And this is an affirmative prayer for health for Carol. We're knowing that God, that one source of healing, of health and wellness, Carol is one with this old source. We see the divine reflected through Carol and each and every aspect of her molecules, her atoms, her cells, her organs, her essence, her divine essence is perfection, unfolding. Carol is not, feels not, as her divine essence is perfection unfolding. And so we're knowing for Carol that all is well and all is healed. And so Carol, as the divine expression of God, in and through Carol, we release this to the law of mind, knowing that this is so, and so it is. And so
Thank you very much.
on behalf of myself and Carol, you are welcome. Namaste. And for Jennifer, treatment for prosperity for a temple community. We're knowing that God, the one source of prosperity, we're knowing that the temple community, the temple as an organization is one with this one source and is prosperous. Prosperous in all of its spheres, prosperous in its community, prosperous in all that it requires to do the work, spiritual work that continues to unfold in our community. And everyone who is part of this community, this interconnectedness of God operates through the community as prosperity. And all that we need is already present. And we declare this to be the so. We're knowing the perfect Sunday services or installments or events, all that we require unfolds. Unfolds as an infinite source of God. And so we release this to love and for action, knowing that it is so, and so it is.
So it is.
So it is. There are two treatments above mine, Tamu.
Okay, let me just scroll up. Let me just see. Okay, I see. Oh, Leighton, sorry, I miss Leighton. Leighton, treat for my daughter for full consciousness of truth. Okay, that the Spirit of God has made her and the breath of Almighty has given her life. Okay, I will for my dear daughter as well. And treatment for love and also peace for Dawn. Okay. All right. And so we're knowing this affirmative prayer is for Leighton's daughter and for the recognition of the divine presence. And so we're knowing the omnipresence, the omniscience of God is the one source of love. Love. And we're knowing Peyton's daughter is the outpicturing and embodiment of God expressed as love. And this law operates, and this love unfolds and reflects back infinite, double fold, reflects back to her. And she sees this divine reflection as her, as God, of picture of love, of beauty, of joy, and her true essence. And this essence continues to unfold and grow and glow. We're knowing she is the perfect image and expression of God. And we release this to the love mind for action, knowing that this is so, and so it is.
And so it is, and so it perfectly is.
And we now do this treatment for the next treatment is for love and peace and for joy. And so this is an affirmative prayer for love and peace for Dawn. We're knowing that God operates as love and as peace. And God, this one source, Dawn, is the embodiment of love and peace. Love is the essence and center, and peace unfolds. And we're knowing in all of Dawn's affairs, anyone who comes in contact with Dawn feels this love. And this love reflects back to Dawn. Love expresses in everyone, every relationship. Dawn unfolds, it encircles, it embodies every single atom, organ, every aspect of Dawn's life. And Dawn is surrounded by her essence of peace as the divine reflects back as love, as peace, as Dawn. And so, as Dawn unfolds in this journey of life, the divine reflects as her perfect essence, and all is well. We release this to love, mind, by action, knowing that this is so, and so it is.
So it is. So it is.
Thank you, Tamu.
Right. Well, I have now come to the period of
There's a treatment request from Carol Campbell coming.
I missed the
Check the
treatment.
chat. Check the chat.
Okay, I'm scrolling down. Can you just read for me? I got the prosperity. I missed another one. Sorry.
Yeah, right outcome regarding an insurance issue for
Okay.
Carol Campbell.
Okay, right outcome. Oh, insurance issue, please treat. Okay. All right. So we're knowing that this is an affirmative prayer for right action for Carol for her insurance. We're knowing that one source God, divine right action and wisdom. We're knowing Carol is one with this one source, and all decisions, all events as it relates to Carol's insurance. We're knowing that all is a reflection of the divine right action in and through Carol's life. We're knowing that Carol makes all the decisions that reflect her divine purpose for this insurance. The person's preparing all the documents, the insurance agent, all involved in this process are the true essence unfolds, and their right action unfolds in their decisions and everything that will occur. And so, knowing this, we know whatever the outcome is, it is a reflection of the divine purpose and right action. And so, knowing this to be the truth, we release it to the law of mind for action. Thank you, Father, that this is so, and
So it is. So it is.
Okay, Vance, is there any other that I may have missed or may be missing?
Yeah, Yvonne John Oliver,
Yes.
wholeness and perfection for Carolyn.
Okay. We're knowing that this treatment, affirmative prayer, is for Carolyn for wholeness and perfection. And so, God, that one source of everything that there is whole and perfect. And Carolyn is that one source, that reflection and action of God as Carolyn is whole and perfect. All aspects of Carolyn's life, physical, mental, spiritual, all of this is an out picturing of her essence, divine essence of God, and all demonstrate the perfection. All that she desires, needs is already in her possession. She is whole and complete as the divine child of God, needs nothing, desires nothing, has everything, is there already that she requires. And so we declare this for Carolyn. We are knowing this to be the truth. And so we release it to the Lord mind for action, knowing that this is so, and so it is.
So it is, and so it is.
Okay, is there anyone else? Bats?
No, Tamara.
Okay. Thank you. And we just say namaste just to close on this section. We're now going to some important reminders. And we will, sorry, just give me a second. I will share my screen. Just want to make sure I'm sharing the right screen as we go through the reminders. Right. So, right. Okay. Let me bring this up. Right. This slideshow. Okay, so welcome again. We're off to the important reminders for today. Just remind us, Sandra is not here with us, but certainly our prayers of love and support surround the family of practitioner Sandra Cooper on the passing of her aunt, Mrs. Winifred Rampe, I hope I pronounced it correctly, at 103 years, and her son's grandmother, Mrs. Velma Stevens, at 104. Wow. They certainly lived an amazing life, but certainly our love goes out to them. Join us every Tuesday again for another spiritual mind healing service, and look out for the link and also the topic for the next session next week, Tuesday. Guess what? There is a pool party coming up for the youth ministry on the 24th of August at 1 p.m. and it's going to be hosted by our own dear Reverend Michelle. So invite a friend to connect and meet new friends. This is certainly a Temple of Light community gathering, and the details will be sent to all parents soon. So listen out, parents, for this. Got any questions? Well, definitely we have answers. And if we don't have them, we certainly are going to look for them for you. So stay tuned. Join us at Legal Light Saturdays from 11 to 1 p.m. And it's free to all. Invite everyone to join in. Please spread the word for this free legal service. And save the date. Very exciting weekend promised with the installation of Reverend Michelle. Promises to be the event of the year from November 8th, 10th. More details to come. Of course, if you wish to continue to support us, and thank you for those who have been supporting us over the years, kindly visit our donate page at donate-templeoflight.csl.org, which has all of our banking details. And thank you, as together we support a world that works for everyone. And so prayer is the great wireless connection. There's prayer support available through Reverend Michelle, and you can email this, use this email address, prayer.templeoflight.csl.org. You can also reach out to our practitioner. This was after the service, so sorry, stay tuned. But all our practitioners are available for you to reach out to us. You can certainly call the Temple of Light if you need someone to pray for you. We are all here for you, and certainly reach out to us. And there is also grief support and counseling available. And we invite you to call this number that's here on the screen. then 876-927-6145. So we are here for you. Just reach out to us. So at this time, we're going to say the prayer for Jamaica. The radiant light of God's love is now flowing through us and from us to everything and everyone it touches. The eternal light of God's love
Light of God's love now
now completely
fills,
fills, covers, and
covers
surrounds our island, Jamaica. The glowing
growing
intensity
intensity of the
of
light
God's
of
love
God's love
now
now interpenetrates
and awakens
within
the
within
hearts
the hearts and
of
minds
our countrymen
of countrymen
and
and
women. The
the
truths of
truth
life
of life
free.
set
The
light
light
of
of God's love
God's love
is growing
for
and
growing
growing in intensity
intensity
in the hearts and
hearts
minds of mankind everywhere. Love,
of
health, harmony, goodwill,
good
peace,
peace,
uprightness, integrity,
integrity,
joy,
joy,
prosperity,
prosperity,
kindness, and a oneness under God
oneness under God
are
are now
now established,
established.
and
So
so
it's
is. So at this time, we will go on to our love offering blessing. And so wherever you are, just clasp your hand in mind or wherever you are, we will repeat. Lovingly I give, joyfully
joyfully as
be
be
thou
thou
full, increase and
increase and
multiply.
multiply.
Bless
Bless, prosper, everyone who touch
and replenish
and
all my financial affairs. So
so
be. Thank
thank
you,
you, Father.
and
So
so it
it
is.
is.
And I encourage you, to use this, even if you're paying for an art, anything, any service you're paying for, wherever you are, if you're going to hand over any money or share monies in any setting, whether it's paying for a service or giving it to a loved one, this is the blessing that you can say to yourself very quickly. So at this time, we are just going to close out our session, and we will close out with an affirmative prayer at this time. So let us be still where we're at and just to reflect on God's presence. And so we're knowing God, the one source, everywhere and everything, in everything, that source of love. The love God operates in and through us as we are one with this one divine presence. We are the reflection and outpicturing of this divine presence, which this divine presence reflected through each and every one of us here online, on YouTube, and those who will join and watch the recording will feel this divine presence. And this divine presence now operates through us, through our relationships, through our friendships. This divine presence is a reflection back of who we are and the essence. And as we know our interconnectedness, our oneness, our spiritual journey, or mutual love for each other, we're knowing that we are the perfect reflection and our picture of God as love. And this love centered itself today. And so we release this to the law of mind for action, knowing that this is so, and so it is.
So it is.
And so if I did the closing treatment, I will, as promised, share this poem from Ernest Holmes as my final words for today. And it comes from You Will Live Forever, which was published in 1960, shortly after Ernest Holmes' death, and is out of publication. And he reminds us, but we are all human beings and we all do long for the touch of a vanished hand or or a sound of a voice that is still. And in this poem, he offers some comfort. And these are for those relationships that continue in a divine spirit world. They are not dead. Those we have fondled to our breast have found sweet peace and quiet rest. They live and move among the blessed. They are not dead. Beyond Earth's slowly setting sun, another life has just begun. Another course of action run. They are not dead. Beyond Earth's storms and mists and rain, beyond all sorrow, fear, and pain, new life, new joy shall spring again. They are not dead. They have found new songs to sing, new life and laughter there to bring to love's eternal spring. Namaste. These are the words
Namaste.
of Ernest Holmes, which was published shortly after his passing. Peace be with you, and thank you, and have a wonderful evening.
Thanks,
Thank
Temu.
you. Thank you.
Night, everyone.
Good
Thank you,
night.
Temu. Very nice. Very nice.